Why are you making such a big deal? Relax, it's just money. Besides, you can always borrow the bag. My younger sister said those words to me after stealing my entire tuition savings. $5,600.
Gone.
For a designer bag. That's when I knew I had to protect myself, even if my own family refused to. I'm Susan, 23 years old. This is the story of how my sister stole $5,600 of my tuition, and then when I tried to get it back, she actually involved the police. Before I go on, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Leave a comment below, and if you're enjoying the story, please subscribe to follow along. Let's dive in. I'm a second-year business administration student at Kennesaw State University in Georgia. I also run a pastry business. Most people see a college student juggling classes and assignments. What they don't see are the nights I spend in my tiny kitchen, elbows dusted with flour, piping buttercream onto cupcakes until 3 in the morning. The business isn't a hobby. It's survival. Every order I fill is another week of tuition, another textbook, another month closer to my degree. Growing up, I learned early that being the older sister meant being the responsible one. My younger sister Mary was treated differently. She was pampered and spoiled, so badly that she began taking what didn't belong to her. She once borrowed our cousin's necklace and never returned it. At school, she cheated on group projects and blamed others when she got caught. She once took a neighbor's child's brand new toy, claiming she needed it more. Every time she wanted something, whether at home or elsewhere, she expected to get it, no questions asked. My parents kept making excuses for her, saying she was only a child. At 21, Mary coasted. She made friends easily, spent weekends shopping, posted photos of brunches and concert tickets. I spent those same weekends frosting cakes, delivering orders, studying between shifts. The exhaustion lived in my bones, but I never complained. What would be the point? My parents wouldn't understand why I needed to work when they provided for Mary without question. They didn't see that I was building something for myself, something no one could take away. My dream was simple. Graduate, open my own cafe, build something that was mine. Business school wasn't just about a degree, it was my ticket out of always being second. Some nights, I'd skip dinner to save money, studying financial models while my hands cramped from piping frosting for hours. I'd declined 3 birthday party invitations that semester alone. But every sacrifice felt worth it when I calculated how close I was to next year's tuition. Except someone did try to take it away. It started when Mary became obsessed with a handbag. Not just any bag, a luxury designer piece with a price tag that made my stomach drop. $5,600. She showed me photos on her phone, scrolling through fashion blogs, her eyes gleaming. Everyone who matters has one of these, she said. I deserve nice things too. I stayed quiet. Mary had never worked a day in her life. She had no concept of what $5,000 meant. The hours, the sacrifices, the weight of that number. When she asked our parents for the money, they actually said no. It shocked both of us. They'd never denied her anything before. We just don't have that kind of money right now, sweetie, my mom said gently. My dad nodded, looking uncomfortable. Mary's face darkened, but she didn't give up. She never did. 2 days later, while reading a book in my room, they came to me. All 3 of them. Standing in my doorway like a delegation. Susan, honey, my mom began, her voice careful. Mary really wants this bag and we know you've been saving money from your business. Could you help her out? Just this once. The request landed like a stone in my chest. I looked at Mary, who wouldn't meet my eyes. Then at my parents, who genuinely believed this was reasonable. That money is for my tuition, I said slowly. Next year's tuition. I've been saving for months. My dad waved a hand. You always figure things out, Susan. You're resourceful. Mary really has her heart set on this. I can't, I said, my voice firmer than I felt. That's my education. I need every dollar. Mary's expression shifted. Something cold flickered across her face before she turned and left without a word. My parents exchanged glances. We're disappointed in you, my mom said quietly. Family is supposed to help family. I ignored her and simply walked to the door and gently shut it in their faces. I had no idea that disappointment was about to turn into something far worse. After they left, I sat on my bed, confused. How could my parents go as far as ask me to give Mary my tuition so she can get a bag? The money was in my account, $3,000, and another $2,600 in cash hidden in my drawer. It represented every late night, every skipped meal, every moment I chose work over rest. It was mine. I'd earned it.
But Mary didn't see it that way.
Over the next few days, something changed in the house. Mary stopped speaking to me entirely. She'd whisper to our parents in the kitchen, and they'd go silent when I entered. I caught fragments. Selfish. Thinks she's better than us, just because she has a business. I felt the coldness spreading through the family like frost, but I kept my head down. I had orders to fill, exams to study for, a future to protect. Then Mary started asking to borrow my phone. Little things. Mine's dead, can I check something real quick? Or, I need to look up a recipe. I thought nothing of it. She was my sister. I watched her unlock it a few times, memorizing the pattern of my fingers across the screen. I was too tired to be suspicious. I should have been. One Thursday night, I came home after delivering 3 cake orders across town. My feet ached. My back screamed. I collapsed on the couch, still in my flour-dusted jeans, and closed my eyes for just a moment. When I woke 2 hours later, the house was dark and quiet. My phone sat on the coffee table where I'd left it. Everything seemed normal. It wasn't until Saturday morning that I opened my drawer and froze. The envelope where I kept my cash, empty. My hands went numb. I grabbed my phone, opened my banking app, and stared at the screen. A transfer. $3,000 sent to an account I didn't recognize. The date, 2 days ago. Thursday night. At the exact hour, I was asleep on the couch. My chest tightened. I read the screen again, hoping the numbers would change. They didn't. My vision blurred at the edges. That money was my spring semester payment, due in 6 weeks. It was January's rent. It was the deposit I'd promised the commercial kitchen space I'd been negotiating for months.
Gone.
I pressed my palm against the desk to steady myself, but my legs felt like water. The room spun, and for a moment, I couldn't pull in a full breath. The room tilted. I checked my messages. There was no alert or notification from my bank. Then I checked my account statement, and there it was, the bank alert. The evidence that my money had been taken. Someone had accessed my account, transferred my money, and deleted the evidence. My mind raced through possibilities before landing on the only person who'd been asking to use my phone all week.
Mary.
I found her in her room, sitting cross-legged on her bed, scrolling through her phone with a satisfied smile. Beside her, resting against the wall like a trophy, was the bag she'd been pestering everyone for money to buy. The $5,600 designer bag.
Mary.
My voice came out strangled. Where did you get the money for that? She glanced up, unbothered. I bought it. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm missing $5,600, I said, each word deliberate. $3,000 from my bank account and $2,600 from my drawer. The exact amount you needed for that bag. She rolled her eyes. God, Susan, you're being so dramatic. Why do you always assume the worst about me? She scrolled through her phone, not looking up. Maybe you miscounted. Or maybe you spent it and forgot. You're always so stressed and tired. Honestly, I'm worried about you. I couldn't believe my ears. Mary, I called out.
Loudly.
Did you steal my money to buy that bag? She set her phone down, her expression shifting to annoyance rather than guilt. Susan, it's not that serious. Why are you making such a big deal? Relax, it's just money. Besides, you can always borrow the bag. My jaw dropped. I sank against the wall, unable to speak. She didn't flinch, no remorse, no guilt. I really wanted the bag, and I thought you'd understand. Don't make this a big deal. The floor seemed to drop beneath me. You stole my tuition money. I borrowed it, she corrected, as if the semantics mattered. You'll make more. You always do. I couldn't breathe, couldn't form words. I turned and walked straight to my parents' room. They were reading in bed, and they looked up when I burst in. Mary stole my tuition money, I said, my voice shaking. All of it. She transferred it from my account and took the cash. She bought that bag with my savings. My mom sighed. Susan, are you sure? Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. She admitted it. My dad closed his book. Well, she shouldn't have done that, but what's done is done. Can't you let it go? She's your sister. Family comes first. I stared at them, waiting for the anger, the consequences, the justice. None came. She's still young, my mom added. You know how she is. Just talk to her calmly and work it out between yourselves. I was stunned. Mary was 21, yet she was still being treated like a toddler. That's when I realized no one was going to save me. I had to save myself. That night, I locked my door and cried until my chest hurt. The weight of it crushed me, not just the theft, but the dismissal. The knowledge that my entire future meant less to them than Mary's temporary happiness. When the tears finally stopped, I sat up, wiped my face, and stared at the wall. I couldn't fix my family, but I could fix this. The next morning, I waited until Mary left for brunch with friends. I walked into her room, picked up the bag, and drove to a luxury resale shop downtown. The manager examined it carefully, confirmed its authenticity, and offered me $3,000. It wasn't the full amount, but it was something. I took the cash, deposited it back into my account, and returned home. When Mary came back and realized the bag was gone, her scream echoed through the house. She stormed into my room, face red with rage. Where is it? What did you do? I sold it, I said calmly. You stole my tuition money and I needed it back. I'm still short $2,600, but at least I can pay part of my fees now. She lunged toward me, and I stepped back. You had no right. That was mine. You had no right to steal from me, I replied. But you did it anyway. You'll regret this, Susan. You will. That's when she grabbed her phone and started dialing. I had no idea what she was up to until I heard her speak. Yes, I need to report a theft, she said, her voice dripping with false tears. My sister stole my designer bag and sold it. I have proof I bought it. My blood went cold. Did she just call the cops? I stood confused. She gave them our address, described the bag, named me specifically. When she hung up, she smiled. Now you'll learn. And just like that, I went from victim to accused. Just then our parents came in, and when she told them I sold the bag, their disappointment was immediate. Susan, how could you? My mom said. You've not acted like a big sister. You should have just let her keep it. I turned to them, desperate. She stole my tuition money. My entire future. You know that's true. My dad shook his head. You took things too far. You should have talked to us first. I'd have talked to you, I said, my voice breaking. You told me to let it go. My mom sighed. Well, now look what you've done. The police are coming, Susan. The police. They looked at me like I was the problem. Like I'd broken something that couldn't be fixed. I sat on my bed, waiting. My mind raced through images I'd only seen on TV, handcuffs, booking photos, a cell. Would they actually arrest me? A theft charge could destroy everything. No cafe. No degree. Some business programs expelled students with criminal records. I picture myself trying to explain this to a judge, to future employers, to anyone who'd listen. And my parents, they were downstairs right now, probably rehearsing Mary's version of events. Would they really stand there and watch officers take me away? Would they let me go to jail to protect her? 2 hours later, the police arrived. I explained everything, the stolen money, the transfers, the cash, the timeline. Mary cried and insisted she'd saved for the bag herself, that I was jealous and vindictive. Our parents backed her story. The officers took statements, collected evidence, and told me I'd be hearing from the district attorney. They left. Word spread fast in our neighborhood. Relatives called. Customers reached out. Some were horrified that my parents had supported Mary's lie. Others quietly distanced themselves. My aunt showed up one evening, furious. Your parents should be ashamed, she told me. Everyone knows what really happened. 2 weeks later, the court summons arrived. I hired a lawyer with what little money I had left. She reviewed my bank records, the transfer history, the timeline of Mary's purchase, and nodded. We have everything we need. Now, I just had to prove it in front of a judge. The day of the court hearing finally arrived. I still couldn't believe I was about to face my sister in court. The courtroom felt too bright, too formal. I sat beside my lawyer while Mary sat across the aisle with our parents, looking bored. When the proceedings began, Mary took the stand first. She was dismissive, almost smug. My sister has always been jealous of me, she said. She couldn't stand that I had something nice, so she stole it. The judge asked her how she'd paid for the bag. Savings, she said quickly. From what source? She hesitated. Gifts. Birthdays. My lawyer stood. Your Honor, the defendant has no employment history, no documented savings account, and the purchase was made within 24 hours of the plaintiff's missing funds. We have bank transfer records showing $3,000 moved from the plaintiff's account to the defendant's account the night before the purchase. Mary's face paled. The judge's expression hardened. When it was my turn to testify, I presented everything: the transfer records, the timeline, the messages where Mary had asked to borrow my phone. I explained my pastry business, my tuition savings, and the moment I discovered the theft. My voice stayed steady, even when my hands trembled. The judge reviewed the evidence in silence. I glanced at my parents. My mom's hand covered her mouth. My dad stared at the floor, his jaw tight. They finally saw it, the lie they'd defended crumbling in real time. Mary's smugness had vanished. She sat rigid, eyes darting between her lawyer and the judge, panic replacing arrogance. The judge leaned forward, her voice measured but cold, each word deliberate. She wasn't asking questions anymore. She was delivering judgment. Then she looked at Mary. You filed a false police report, wasted law enforcement resources, and attempted to criminalize your sister for recovering her own stolen property. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Mary's mouth fell open. The judge continued. You are sentenced to 60 days in county jail, followed by 2 years of supervised probation. You will repay the remaining $2,600 in restitution and carry a criminal record for theft and filing a false report. The gavel struck. Mary's face crumpled, but the judge had already moved on. Our parents sat frozen, faces ashen. My lawyer squeezed my shoulder. You did it, she whispered. I stepped into the courthouse hallway, legs shaking, and leaned against the cold marble wall. My phone buzzed. A text from my aunt. I'm so proud of you. You did the right thing. Behind me, I heard Mary's voice, raw, desperate, screaming that this wasn't fair as officers escorted her out. The sound echoed down the corridor, then faded. Outside the courthouse, my parents tried to approach me. Susan, we didn't think, my dad started. No, I said quietly.
You didn't think.
You never did. The weeks that followed were strange. Mary served her sentence. My parents stopped calling as often, and when they did, the conversations felt hollow. Extended family reached out. Some apologized, others offered quiet support. My pastry business grew unexpectedly as words spread locally. People admired what they called my courage. I just called it survival. With my tuition money restored, I returned to school. I threw myself into my classes, my business, and building the life I'd always fought for. The distance from my family didn't hurt the way I thought it would. Instead, it felt like breathing for the first time. One evening, I sat in my apartment, decorating a wedding cake, and thought about everything that had led me here.
The theft.
The betrayal. The courtroom. The consequences. I didn't feel victorious. I felt free.
I didn't lose a sister that day.
I just finally saw who she really was. And now I choose peace. Sometimes the golden child gets everything until consequences catch up. And sometimes the invisible child has to become visible by protecting what's hers. If your family won't defend your future, you have every right to defend it yourself. That's not selfish. That's survival. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about standing up for yourself and finding strength when your back's against the wall. Drop a comment below about a time you had to protect yourself, even when it cost you something. I read every single one. Thanks for listening.